First diver on the board, that is Cheong Jun Hyung.
Takeoff looked okay. It's a difficult dive to do, so you need to squeeze into that pike shape, which she does, just letting go of her legs a little bit too early, leaving the dive marginally short of vertical.
What she gets, so kind of mid-range really, 7 and above. Rebecca Gowtry much further down than her quality normally shows. The forward 2.5 somersaults, 1 twist for Rebecca.
Nice from Rebecca, just allowing the dive. She's back from the end on the takeoff, which means she has to shift her weight forward in order to complete the dive. 8s, which would have been ideal opening.
Grace Reed on the board. Consequently, it's not worth 3.0. It's worth 2.7.
Well, that's a beautiful opening round dive once again from Grace. Easier inward, so this is the tuck position, bending at the hips and at the knees, grabbing hold of the shins, squeezing tight, straight up and down. Consistent dive from Grace.
Hardly put a foot wrong. Pamela Ware, 21 years of age, from Canada. Ice cream bet it was.
Oh, beautiful opening round dive. So rewarded. The takeoff is good. Pike shape could do with squeezing it a little tighter. A little bit of an arch as she goes in.
Bronze medalist at the 2013 World Championships in Barcelona. Inward 2.5 somersaults with pike. Degree of difficulty for her.
Well, that's a little bit better than this morning. But she manages to get after it, driving those hips up and over, ducking her chin slightly.
63 to be precise, easy calculation to make. Tabita Sabri of Malaysia.
Nice, I was very impressed with this young 15-year-old. But this was a corking opening in the prelims. She's just allowed that to go over as she's entered the water. So it won't be quite as impressive as it was earlier.
Seen by the judges as this will be, again, a 3.0 dive. Second of the English divers we'll see in the final.
Oh, what a dive from Alicia, opening up her final. Edwin Young-Yongs and A.D. Hitchcliffe, and he said, yep. So this is going to be a long competition for her, but look at that to kick off with 70.5.
We're back to the inward 2.5s again. Best we've seen so far of those.
Very, very nice. Getting to compare and contrast this, the inward 2.5 in the pike position. This will get over 65 points, I think, finishing higher. Second place.
Behind Alicia Black, best placed of the English this morning, but of course the points do not get carried forward. Inward 2.5 somersaults.
Oh, good. Very good from Hannah. Water in her ears there as she comes up. This is a really strong attacks to take off, squeezes into that pike shape.
3 7s. 63, and she will also be doing the dive that you've seen a lot of, all around the kind of 63 to 67 mark so far. Is she better that?
No, I think she is a little short of vertical. Takeoff is okay, but she backs away from the diving board a little bit too much, which leaves her short of vertical as she goes into the water.
So 6.5 and 7s. She is in the 3, not quite so expansive on the 3 in terms of what she can do. Back 2.5 somersaults with pike, 3.0 for the Australian.
Oh, just washing over as she goes into the water. Back 2.5 somersaults in the pike position. She is so powerful, only 18 years old. Incredible job on the 1 metre. Letting a falter on the entry causes the marks to be low.
Already got the 1 metre title under her belt. Here's Jennifer Abel with her inward 2.5 somersaults.
Yep, she's silver medal 4 years ago, and here she is on her favoured 3 metre top qualifier, ready to open up her campaign. It's steady, steadfast. She has done it better.
Judge 5 didn't like it very much, but 7s and a 7.5 for Jennifer. Alicia Black at the top, only person to go over 70. Canadians tied for 3rd, and Grace Reed, as you mentioned, does have a lower degree of difficulty for the majority of her program, so not expected to keep up with the more established performers, but Cheong Jun Hyung snuck in 12th place. We did get rid of 2 this morning, but she got in 12th with a forward 3.5.
Yeah, has a little bit of difficulty with this in training, and she's missed it again in the final. Forward 3.5 in the tuck position, bending at the knees, bending at the hips in the tuck shape.
Not that great, but 6.5s. It's an okay return. Made a senior debut 10 years ago for Great Britain. Here she is for England with a reverse 2.5 somersaults with pike.
Yes, that's a good dive from Beck. This time, she waits, lets go at the correct time. Little bit of a back arch, little bit of an over rotation.
Oh, hang on. Oh dear. He took the cameraman out there. Smile when she got onto the board. Now it's studied concentration. It's with tuck and rather with pike. Forward 3.5 somersaults for the Scots girl.
She is just rising to the occasion. Home crowd in a home pool, home country. And she certainly takes that forward 3.5 on and does a great job.
Sevens, never shabby. Pamela Ware, currently third. That's where she finished in Barcelona at the World Champs last year. Forward 3.5 for her.
Well, she's got a point to prove. It's the example, really need to get after this. It's 3.1 degree of difficulty for a reason. It's difficult.
Exactly, 65.10. Annabelle Smith with a reverse 2.5 somersaults with pike 3.0 for the Australian.
Well, leaving the dive short of vertical there, went wrong on the takeoff, stamps the diving board. She's not on the end, so there's a miscoordination with the diving board. The diving board is your friend. So there you go, technical talk.
Yeah, really. Davita Sabri for Malaysia, currently in 5th place.
It's a good dive. This is her favoured movements, the forward. A little bit back from the end of the diving board, so making it hard work. But she does hang on just about long enough to get it in. So this was good in the prelims. Not so maybe the 15-year-old from Malaysia will start to slip away now as she moves towards the weaker part of her programme.
Needs 60 to be in front of Pamela Ware.
So a little soft in her body as she went into the water, arching through the back. So swinging the arms. Takeoff looks okay. I did mention in round 1 that she isn't very well. Now she looked a little weak on the takeoff there, and a little soft on the way out of the dive. Rubbing her eyes. She looks a little bit, yeah. So it's tough.
Currently ranked 2. She was after the first round with Alicia Black leading. Forward 3.5 with 3.1 in the pike position, so quite a high tariff dive for her.
Very well executed as well. Ying Yi, 21, there's 3 in the final. Cheong opening up, she's the first diver. This is one of her hardest dives, or the hardest dive by way of degree of difficulty, 3.1.
Yeah, not quite 70, but very close to her, 68.20, and she does go into the lead with those 7.5s and 7s. And just preparing herself for her forward 3.5 somersaults, currently in 5th place. 72 will take her into the lead.
Oh, it's very good. She does go up, up and away. The entry into the water, it's a little bit low. She ends up short, but then ducks ahead and ends up going over. So the judges might penalise her quite heavily for that.
Yeah, I think they have. Well, they're certainly taking a mark off. 6.5, 6.5, and 6.5 will count. Remember, that's the chin up first. Same dive once again. We'll see something different from Madison Keeney after this.
Whoa, what a beauty! Now this will rocket her straight up the leaderboard. It's 3.1, we've seen it before. If it gets close to 70 points or over 70 points, she's going to leapfrog a few of her fellow competitors, and she does.
This is not the dive, so the next time she has a little problem with. 63 she got in the first round, reverse 2.5 somersaults with pike, second time round.
Oh, she does so well. Hurdle step was a little bit off. She's leaning, so that's the approach to the end. She's leaning too far forward. She's right on the corner of the board. But look at the height she gets. You must be able to see that at home. It is incredible, especially that she's corner boarding. which is where you land in the corner of the board. It's not very easy to do anything from there, let alone a reverse 2.5 in the pike position. And she manages to get 7.5s on it. Wow.
Always keeps her game face on, a game head on for the evening. And looked very good this morning, so that's a worry for everybody else. Back 2.5 somersaults with pike.
Yeah, nice. Very nice indeed from Jennifer. Tip over slightly vertical, so I think it might get 8s. Kept the splash down nicely.
Couple of 8s and a 7.5, and not quite in the lead at the moment, but very, very close to it. And Yan Yi of Malaysia first, able than the 2 Australians, then Alicia Blagg and Annabelle Smith. Just at the moment for a back 2.5 somersaults with pike.
Well, Chung looks as though she's a little bit, well, I'm not sure, a little bit tired, not quite got a competition head on. She is much, much better than this. Still 7's good, but...
Yeah. Rebecca Gallantry, joint 9th after the second round. 3.5 somersaults with pike for the City of Leeds diver.
Gold medal in the 3-metre synchro with Alicia Blagg. That's a good forward 3.5 in the pike position. You see the sprays on the surface of the water there. That's worth mentioning.
Grace Reed's forward 2.5 somersaults, 1 twist for the Scottish diver, 3.0, one of her bigger tariffs.
Beautiful dive. Going to get the rotation into the 1.5 somersaults. There's the 1 twist, then complete the extra somersault to make it 2.5 somersaults.
We're staying on 63, 3 7s. Pam Ware now for Canada, inward 2.5, currently 5th.
Oh, faltering. Resting in 5th after the second round. That will see her drop from the leaderboard. Not getting enough rotation, ending up short of vertical as she goes in. As soon as a diver has hit the water, the judges are required to put their scores in.
Annabelle Smith has a back 2.5 somersaults to perform now for us, 3.0 for the Australian.
That's better from Smith, 2.5 in the pike position. As we look through the replay there, you can see the strain going through the body, pulling the top of the half of the body onto the bottom half to show the pike shape pretty much vertically.
Looks pretty much like she was doing this morning. That was her Sabri. It's in the tuck position, not the pike. Back 2.5 somersault with tuck, so 2.8 on this.
Yeah, that's okay from Sabri. As I mentioned, her first 2 opening round dives. Now, she struggles with this particular movement, the back, and the next one that she's doing is the reverse. So Sabri landing okay on that one. Is she? Yeah, she's quite pleased.
Forward 3.5, you know, she's not being on top of her game, but let's see what the forward 3.5 will bring for her.
Oh, lovely dive. Even though she landed right on the corner of the board, she waits. She's so strong.
And that's where she was at the end of round 1. Won't be there at the end of round 3, I don't think, but 71.3 puts her there temporarily. Starting has something a little bit different to come up next, but here is our current leader.
Oh, faltering, Yang Yi, over she goes. That's going to get mid-range, so maybe 5.5s from the judges. That will see her less than 50 points, and yeah.
Hannah Starling. Focus on what she needs to do. Have a little chat to herself. Reverse 2.5 somersaults with pike for Hannah.
Nice, really nice. Marvellous dive from Hannah. A little bit of a skip on the takeoff. One of her feet over the end of the diving board, which caused that. She squares it up nicely. She'll get 7s. And that's a very good 3rd round dive.
In the positions just behind the medals. Unless we see some faltering here. Fair share of injury problems along the way. I had to take a whole year out with ankle problems not so long ago. And she is with a back 2.5 somersaults.
Oh, that is the dive of her programme so far. We could see the first dive scoring above 8.5s. That's straight up and down. If the judges are awake and they're in a good mood.
And it is for the judges as well. They have the same view of that, as we do from the commentary box. 8.5s for Esther Chin. The big movers and shakers are about to take to the board, though just currently out of medal position is Madison Keeney of Australia.
Oh, did she hit the diving board? Now, let's have a look on the replay. I think she does. So she's that high, she's right over the diving board. Donk, there you go, she hits her feet on the diving board. So the judges will quite clearly penalise that. Now, that is a shame. She hits the feet on double. Well, if it's deemed dangerous, judge number one thought, no, you hit the board, I'm giving you 1.5 out of the medals, and that would be a real shame.
Yeah, she's got a lot of talent. Doesn't always put it all together at the right time. This lady, however, is a complete reverse of that. Forward 2.5, one twist.
Well, unfazed by the diver before her, what she can do, what she needs to do. One dive at a time, that's how you win the Commonwealth Games. And are we looking at the eventual champion? Once again, 1 metre last night, and now clear in the top two with the Australian Esther Chin.
Great dive in round 3. It's put herself in position A. Rebecca Gallantry on the front page, so 3 English there. Grace Reed's moved up to 7. And it looks like a big 1 to 11, separated by just 35 points. I say just, it's quite a lot, but massive difference between them. Reverse 2.5 for Chung.
Oh, yeah, Chung's definitely off a game. This was a real beauty in the prelim. 8.5s, one judge gave her a 9. And she's done a lot of competing over these past few days. This is day number 4 of the diving here. Chung's been on pretty much every day. Facial expression there that she's kind of toughing it out.
Inward 2.5 somersaults with tuck, and this is down in the 2.7 range, so diver originally from Essex.
Oh, what a shame. She's opting for the easier inward. So in the tuck position, you get less degree of difficulty, just 2.7. Maybe needed to exit the dive a little bit sooner to ensure the vertical entry. She is watching the replay. And she get the feedback from her coach, Adi Hinchcliffe.
Her parents weren't involved in diving at all, but that's not Pamela Ware, by the way. That is definitely Grace Reed on the board with a reverse 2.5 somersaults with tuck.
Oh, lovely. She knows she's lacking in degree of difficulty, but she's matching many of the athletes dive for dive with execution. This will get her a handful of 7s.
A couple of 7.5s discarded, as are a couple of 7s. And Ware, 8th place at the moment for the Canadian, but that's makeable in terms of bridging the gap. Reverse 2.5 again.
Yeah, that's going to help. Inward 2.5 in the pike position. This is the reverse 2.5. She reaches back, just allowing the dive to tip over. Start making up words in a minute, you never know.
Oh, you normally do that anyway. And Grace Reed and Pamela Ware are very close together now. 240 for the Canadian, 238 for Grace Reed. Annabelle Smith. Forward 3.5 somersaults with pike, 3.1. Her biggest dive.
Certainly is. Right on the end of the diving board. She's just a little bit back from the end. So has to squeeze into that pike shape, duck her chin in as she enters.
In behind Ware and Reed, she parks herself. And Sabri, very, very good. She's at the other end of the pack this time. Here comes her 2.8. Different tariff on this. Reverse 2.5 somersaults.
Oh, she's nailed it. Sabri, the 15-year-old from Malaysia here, performing this dive to the very best of her ability. I've been watching this in training. It's one of her dives, a bogey dive potentially, and that is very good.
8 and 7.5. Not feeling well at all. How good would it be to see her do a brilliant reverse 2.5 somersaults with pike in round 4?
Well, it was almost brilliant. Good distance from the diving board, squeezing into the pike shape. Slight bend in the knees there. The judges won't see that. She just reaches back a little bit with a little bit too much effort.
For now, 248, 30, 54. Some of the other British competitors here. Abel and Chin. There's only one more round after this, so this has to be good.
Yes, that's good from Yang Yi. Reverse 2.5 in the pike position. It's an okay takeoff. It's a little bit scruffy into the pike shape. She could get 7s on this.
Alicia Black still in position A, though. 19-year-old from Leeds, originally a swimmer. Back 2.5 somersaults with pike, 3.0 for Hannah.
Yes, very nice. Her takeoff is good, but she's not finishing the dive high enough in order to get the drop to get more than 7. She does a very nice job of fitting that in.
Very nice, about 2.5 somersaults.
So where will that put her? I think close to Alicia's score.
Only by about a mark. About 1 point between Hannah Starling and Alicia Blagg in second. Can she put a bit of distance between herself and the Canadian with her reverse 2.5?
Oh, she was in the lead before. Beautiful dive from Esther Chin. Reverse 2.5 in the pike position. Drills that entry. Could be 8.5s. Got to catch. Just one dive to go for Esther Chin.
So Madison Keeney, I think their last dive is done for her chances of a medal. It's a forward 3.5. 3.1.
Now you've got to give credit to this young lady. Lands just on the end of the diving board, but look how high above the 5-meter board in the background she goes. That's a beautiful dive, 68 points, and that will squeeze the gap. She'll only be 10 points off a medal now, down to the exciting last round.
Jennifer Abel knows that she has to be at the top of her game now to catch Esther Chin with a forward 3.5.
Oh, well, she does need to be top of her game, and that is not top of her game. This is 3.1. She would have needed 8s to catch Esther Chin. That is less than 8s.
She's going to have 11 points to make up in round number 5 in 2014. Esther Chin, and then the rest with Grace Reed in there in 9th place.
Hannah Starling is a 3.0, Esther Chin 3.0, Madison Keeney 3.0, Jennifer Abel 3.0. Oh, game on.
Oh, it certainly is. Chung Jun Hyung of Malaysia, her last dive, 2.9 on this one.
No, Chung very much off her game this evening. What a shame, because when she's diving well, she's a delight to watch.
5.5s. Nice to know some people to make Rebecca Gallantry. Oh, it's not going to be a medal day for her today.
Oh, she sneaks out of it in nicely, just a little bit aggressive as she goes into the water.
7s is exactly and precisely what you get. 63 for Becky Gallantry. Back 2.5 somersault with tuck for her. Last dive for Scotland's Grace Reed.
Oh, she finishes off in style. Little bit too much splash being thrown up. So well in the 1 meter yesterday, prelims and finals, and today in the 3 meter prelims and finals. Her coach Jenny Leeman will be thrilled. Good finish, and what a wonderful Commonwealth Games. Her second, would you believe, at the age of 18?
And nearly 300. Nearly 300. She would love to have been there. Well, she's not too far shy. And we're in 6th. Forward 2.5 somersaults, 1 twist, 3.0 for finishing off.
And she finishes off with a marvellous dive. Yeah, nice.
67.50. She is the first of the divers to go over 300, 308.1. Rather disappointing at Annabelle Smith today. Just hasn't quite worked out for her. Forward 2.5 with 1 twist, as we mentioned. She'll see a lot more to finish off.
Oh, it's a solid finish from Annabelle Smith. And this is good from Smith. Probably identical scores coming her way as we saw for the Canadian Pamela just before her.
7.5s across the board, 67 in parts in the morning. Not quite so this evening. Forward 2.5, so you're able to look and see what you think, along with the judges. 3.0 on the DD.
Oh, faltering on her last dive as well. And she will drop down the leaderboard there. Probably behind Rebecca Gallantry and Grace Reed. At one stage, she was ahead of both.
45. That's what she's got on that. It's a bit like Tonya Couch on the 10, finishing with a lower tariff dive, but one that she feels comfortable with. And this is an inward 2.5 somersaults with tuck.
Well, she's given it her best shot. She isn't feeling very well this year. Shaking her head as she comes up. She knows as soon as you hit the water. Hope she feels better soon.
Yeah, get well soon, Alicia. Heng Yang Yi of Malaysia, 5th place. So still got a target of a top 3 finish. Forward 2.5 for the next Malaysian.
Yeah, it's good. You hear the Malaysian contingent shout and cheer. There they are. 4 divers still to come. Wow, it's going to be right down to the wire. This is good stuff. She's diving at its very best. Yeah, nice and close.
We have no idea where the medals are going yet. It is a forward 2.5 somersaults, 1 twist. I think you probably know that by now. Come on, Hannah. 3rd place, yeah? See if she can do it.
Oh, it's a tremendous dive from Hannah Starling. Will that be enough? She's thrown down the gauntlet to the rest of them. Let's wait and see what happens. Wow, I am super impressed. Beautiful dive. That's her dive of the competition. That's going to get over 65 points, and that might be enough for a medal.
I'll put my rather damaged reputation on the line and say it will be good enough for a medal. I'm sure now with that. It's got to put pressure on everybody else. Got Esther Chin, the leader. Got Jennifer Abel to come. Madison Keeney in between. Of course, Madison Keeney still mathematically going to overtake that. But at the moment, in #1 position is Hannah Starling with 316.95. Interesting stuff. Now, 32 is all Esther Chin needs to overtake Hannah on her forward 2.5.
Well, I think we could be looking at the Commonwealth Games champion right there. She had a bit of a lead. Jennifer Abel probably is the only one that can catch her. Esther Chin has been rocking it this evening, and that's a really good dive to finish, but it's not out of Jennifer Abel's reach. It's not as good as Hannah Starling's. It'll get mid-60s probably with 7s coming her way. Yep, 347 is the point to beat, and only Abel could do that, and she is up after Madison Keeney.
I think it's 75 or thereabouts, maybe 76 she needs, so it's going to have to be as spot on as she can make it her last dive, which is a different dive from everybody else's that you've seen recently. Now, Madison Keeney cannot catch Esther Chin. She can catch Hannah Starling with a 77.7 on this forward 2.5. Anything under 77, Hannah has a medal.
Oh, it's a good dive from the Australian. I do not think that will be good enough for her to stand on the podium. Of course, she hit her feet on the diving board in dramatic fashion, so that means that Hannah Starling will win at least the bronze. At least the bronze. That's good diving from the Australian. She is a super talent, but I am absolutely thrilled for Hannah Starling, who I can now confirm will stand on the podium.
She will, at least on rung 3, because Esther Chin has a medal, Hannah Starling has a medal. What colour? We will discover in the next minute. The scenario is straightforward, it's easy, it's simple, it's 73.5. In other words, kind of 8.5s really for Jennifer Abel for gold for Canada.
No, it won't be gold for Canada, it's gold for Australia. That will be, I think, good enough for silver. She only needs 5s. 5.5s to ensure the silver. It's not very good. It will be very close, but I think it's good enough. It's a drop dive from the, well, not defending champion, but the 1 meter champion, silver medalist 4 years ago. You can see her disappointment. Silver again for Abel. Gold for Australia, Esther Chin. And another medal for Team England. There are the Australians celebrating. What a contest. Great diving from Esther Chin.
Esther Chin taking the gold, Jennifer Abel with the silver, but Hannah Starling, who looked very good this morning, has improved her standard. The 316.95 she got in the end, good enough for 3rd place, edging out Madison Keeney, Eng and Pamela Ware, the bronze medalist from last year at the World Championship. So well done, Hannah Starling, a major step forward for the 19-year-old from Leeds. But it's bronze for her, Canada, with Jennifer Abel getting a silver to add to her gold in the 1 meter. But Esther Chin looked very good in the 1, looking good in 3 with the gold. And there's the 7 to 12. Alicia Blagg in 7, not feeling at all well. We do wish her well because